And 3, 2, 1, boom. And we're back to another episode of Scrap Gamers. This episode brought to you by Zenreal Clothing Co. Pick up your tees and your accessories at ZenrealClothingCo.com. And be sure to check out the free Zenreal radio playlist. But if you decide to pick something up on the Zenreal Clothing Co. actual site, I was like stumbling. I gotta come up with a new way to like make these more easier for my tongue to say, because I keep slipping up there. But okay, so if you decide to pick up things on the actual website, be sure to use offer code SoccerTees for 20% off select items. Also, if you're located in the Port Union area of Scarborough, Toronto, Canada, be sure to check out the Port Union Bakery for amazing daily baked goods, baked daily, crafted with love. And be sure to say what's up to Arvel. If you listen to the end of the podcast, you'll know that I keep giving him a shout out, but if you don't make it to the end, then you don't know about Arvel. But Arvel is a god, so be sure to stop by and be like, yo, Arvel, are you here? And he'll be like, I'm Arvel. And then he'll give you a little air daps, or like an air high five. All right, so we're officially in lockdown stage 2. No, second lockdown. Not stage 2.
Well, not yet.
Lockdown.
We will be.
Yes, we've
on Monday.
announced, depending on when you're listening to this, we got
Well, if you
announced.
release it, I guess.
I'm trying to do
Monday.
it today.
Okay.
But yeah, depending on when you're listening to this, we are in the second lockdown of COVID.
But yeah, by region
Toronto.
now, right?
Yeah, by region, not like all Ontario wide, so that's pretty good. So like, I mean, like, that's good, but it also like promotes the idea of people like traveling to these non-lockdown areas.
Yeah, I think what will happen is, like, it was Toronto and Peel. I think York will get it probably by next week,
You think
just to
Durham too?
prevent this thing, huh?
You think Durham too?
I think so. They'll be watching the numbers, how much, if they're going up. Probably, yeah. I think generally it's going to be the areas that are more population.
I saw like on the things that are locked down, they gave like this general one, and then they were saying that like gyms and hair salons might be closed next week. Well, most likely they will be. They're just going to announce it next week.
For those areas?
Oh yeah, for
Or-
those areas. Yeah,
Yeah,
totally.
okay.
Yeah, did you hear that too?
No, I
Like,
wasn't
no.
paying attention.
Yeah, I was like looking at the list. I've honestly stopped looking at all actual media for this. Like I've gotten like brain fog now, where I'm just like, I don't even care. Like just thinking about it's just like too much. Like I feel like we're so out of control that it's like, just let me have social media tell me what is coming up.
I like to listen to the press conferences.
Yeah,
Then
true.
then
Like
at
you
least
knew it was coming. So like when we were driving back yesterday, you were saying like that you knew it was coming, but to me it was a shock. I was like, oh, we're in this again. But it's like if you'd been paying attention, you'd know that this is where it was headed.
I mean, he kept saying it throughout the week, because it's not like they only did one press conference. They've been doing it
Right.
pretty daily or so.
Oh, really? A daily? Okay.
Yeah.
So back in there.
Yeah, and what I heard from him saying is we might have to do another lockdown. He's been saying that.
Right.
If we don't, stop like going out and stuff, if we're not doing that, then we have to go into another lockdown. So that's kind of what.
Do you think it's
What's
like
happening?
psychologically? I think we talked about this before, but like if you do them in 28-day increments, because this one's like a 28-day, right?
I think so. I didn't hear it myself, but someone did tell me that it was
28 days.
28 days.
Okay, so if you keep hearing them in 28-day increments, do you feel like that it's less daunting? You know what I mean? Like, we just gotta get through this hurdle. We just gotta get through this hurdle. We just gotta get through this hurdle.
Well, remember the first time? It was 2 weeks.
Yeah,
Yeah,
true.
because it was something new, right?
And then it
Now we're
became
like, we got used to that, so it's like 28 days is fine.
Yeah, true. Yeah, true. We all freaked out at 2 weeks. Yeah,
It's like,
true.
4 weeks, sure, whatever.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
But you do have to bring it down, though. So I knew it was going to come, especially with the numbers going this high, and they were projecting if we kept going at the same rate, you would have had, like, across Canada, about 60,000 cases a day.
Was 60,000?
Yeah.
That's a lot. Wow.
Yeah. Because it's 100 people will get it. Those 100 people will spread to another. Each individual one will spread it to more people. So, like, you'll have double 200. Then it'll go to 4. Like, it'll just,
Oh, wow.
that's how it, like, quickly spreads. So, like,
Right. That's how they did the math on this.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
the
yeah.
projections, I mean.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
So then they're like, yeah, you're gonna have to do a lockdown. It's the only way to bring it down, get it to 0. I think the focus should always be 0.
Right. I've been listening to Faraz Sahabi talk about this. He he lives in Montreal, which is like a
Much more,
crazy
yeah.
COVID ridden, and he was saying that
Mhm.
like even France, when we play online with him, he lives in Montreal, right? So there's like it's interesting their perspective. Like I was like, oh, France, we're going to lockdown now, and he's like, yeah, I've been in lockdown. It's been like
We don't
constant
think
28
about
days.
other provinces, which
Yeah,
is
you
funny.
don't. Yeah, because we only have like local news, right?
Yeah.
But like for them, they've been shut down for like
Yeah.
a while now.
Yeah.
You know, and like so for us was talking about how like some gym owners, because he's a gym owner, like they would go against
The lockdown.
The lockdown, yeah, because they're like, oh well, I'm just gonna lose my business. So they opened, and then the government fined them $50,000, and he's like, yeah, I'm not gonna play this game. Frost was saying,
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
he's like, I'm just gonna stay closed.
Yeah.
And like, so then I was listening to more recent podcasts. I'm like, oh, we're gonna open up again, blah blah. Blah. And then I saw the TriStar Gym post, and it's like, we are locked down till December or January something. I think the post said.
Okay.
And
Wait,
I'm like,
okay.
oh, because they're.
Where's this gym at?
Montreal.
Oh, it's the same.
Montreal,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
For Hobbies.
Oh, that's
gym.
the name of this gym.
No, it's called TriStar.
Oh, okay. I
The
didn't know.
head coach. Oh, okay. So the head coach is called Faraz Sahabi. His name is Faraz Sahabi, and the gym is called TriStar.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So yeah, he's like, and then but like I know his feelings on it because he's like, why don't we just lock everything down for 4 weeks? Like everyone gets their food delivered. I mean, this is like his ideal situation. He's like, I'm not an expert. This is what I like. He's like, I'm not an expert, but like to me, I would do this if you were asking me. Because like he does AMAs and people ask him like what he thinks about like what would you do? Blah, blah.
Yeah. But it's like,
He's
yeah,
like,
I know.
I defer to the experts, which is totally cool. But like he's like been getting restless, and then the post said like lockdown until January something. I think it was January, and then it says like no words, like underneath it, because it's like you could tell he's fed up now. You know, like can't do anything about it, like. Because everyone gives statements, right?
Yeah.
So like with this lockdown, I started seeing like other BJJ gyms, and they're like, "Oh, we're gonna reassess, and we're gonna let you know." Blah blah blah.
I just think it's health over economics right now.
Yeah, true, totally.
Because even if you do open up if more people catch it, more people die, it's still gonna affect the economics. So
yeah, I think it really shows like the way the tide is turning economically, and like what we're gonna value later on as like meaningful businesses to invest in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I feel like tech is like gonna be huge.
Yeah, I mean they had a huge jump in stocks prices throughout the first lockdown.
Tech, like Amazon.
Tech,
yeah.
Amazon, Apple, Google, everyone.
But like it's also like you can't. All right, so small anecdotal example. So I was looking for black ink for my parents. Yeah. And we went to like all the Staples, all sold out. So I was like, all right, let me check out online, Amazon. I bought it on Amazon. I was like, so how can you compete? It's like, yeah, I would like to pay Staples, like the local Staples, like money, but you guys don't have the product, and I need it now. So it's like,
well, yeah, that happens too. So,
but I mean, like the shifting tides, like you're gonna see, like there's a lot of like anti-big business right now as well, because like they don't really need our support, but at the same time, it's like they're providing a service that other businesses can't offer.
But I don't think. I guess so. I think it's more for like restaurants or like small chain grocery stores. I don't know. Like these are the things that you would probably try to help versus Staples is still a big business too, right? So
I guess you're right. But I mean, like I'm talking about like.
But like if they don't have it, then but if they don't have it, they don't have it, right? So like that.
And it said like the sign was like COVID is like messing our shipping up, so we don't have all that. It's like, ooh, this is crazy right now to see like on that level. But it's weird because if you don't pay attention to the news, like I haven't been paying attention to the news like on purpose, I feel like you're more like it more becomes like incremental change. Like it's like there's no panic associated with it. It's just like, oh, okay, that changed. Oh, okay, that changed. You know what I'm saying? Like like when we were talking about tech, and I was talking about how we're in the future now, and like with this smartwatch that I have that can like read my heart data and like you know, and it integrates with my phone and all that. And like if you had done this in 2000, I would have freaked out because I've been like, oh my god, this is like wizardry, you know. But then if you look at it incrementally, it's like, oh, this is just what happened. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like it doesn't seem like a big jump. And I feel like that's how COVID is right now. If you just take it like one step at a time, it's like, okay. Like, because your mind can crack if you actually really think about like, it's almost been a year. That's crazy.
Yeah. You know. But time blew by pretty fast. I would say too.
I would say so too. I wonder if like time went by.
we were in the beginning where it's like, when is the PS5 coming?
Yeah,
Like, we had
true,
no
yeah.
idea what
Well,
it's going to look
time's
like.
always fast. When
Of
you're
course,
older.
but it's like we're hitting the next second lockdown. I already have a PS5, so I'm like,
we're good.
It's like,
yeah, totally. Yeah, I wonder like because they say like time is like you look at it in a fraction of your own time. So like as you get older, so 1 year if you're 4 is a quarter of your life, but
Mhm.
1 year when you're like 25 is like 1/25 of your life. You know what I mean? So it's like
right.
it's like, oh, this is like time is speeding up
Yeah.
relatively, you know? So I wonder if like maybe it's because we're older that we're like, okay, I don't
I don't know.
see
Maybe.
it, you know?
I don't
Because
know.
I wonder how kids feel, you know? Like they're all,
Well, yeah. I mean, they still have school, so.
which must suck. Like every day must feel exactly the same. Well, I mean, technically, you're still commuting to work, but like I'm remote and I'm like primarily like at home. So
Yeah.
every day does feel like exactly the same to me.
Yeah.
You know, it's like weird. Yeah. I don't know. Do you think the vaccine's gonna clean everything up?
Like, remove the thing? What do you
Like,
mean?
you know how we're like constantly waiting. Do you think it's gonna be good to go? Like when vaccine's here and then like we'll
Well, yeah,
take
it's
the
still,
turn.
it's not, like, even though the vaccine is here, in order to get everyone vaccinated, it's still going to take time.
Yeah, there's like a queue, right? Like there's like a
Well, they're going to focus probably first on, like, the most vulnerable,
Exactly
as
what I
well
mean,
as
yeah.
the frontline workers,
yeah.
and then everybody else.
Yeah, totally.
So if you hit I don't know, they probably have to hit like a 60% population rate or something.
Mhm.
Then it's like you're doing that herd immunity thing, but this is with the vaccine, right?
Right. Okay.
So at that point, maybe you can, you should be generally be okay
yeah.
at that time. But now that there's like, it's not just one, there's 2 vaccines.
Yeah, I was gonna get into that. The Pfizer thing. I don't know what the other companies.
Moderna, I think it was.
Okay, so it's so funny when Pfizer came out, it's like 90% effectiveness.
Yeah,
and
92.
then Moderna came out with 94%, and then like a few days later, Pfizer's like, actually, we're 95%. It's like, all right, bro, like, what numbers did you skew for this one? Like, that's kind of weird that you just switched it from 90. You saw your competitors 94, and you're like, so you made yourself 95. You know?
Yeah. Or they looked at the study again, like to make sure that they
But why
have
would
the
you
math
look at study
correct.
then? You know what I
Because
mean?
they do want to,
Marketing,
but then they both have 2 different ways of
computing,
handling
like-
but like it's 2 different ways of handling the vaccine. So
one's like -70 or something.
yeah,
like that.
so the Pfizer one is like has to be super cold, so they had to make special glass or something to hold it in that kind of temperature, and you can only, when you open it, there's like a time limit, like you can only,
Oh, really?
you have to close it back up again within the hour,
Oh, wow.
or the vaccine like dies or something. So it's like, or
And what about the Moderna one? Do you know anything about?
the Moderna one, I think they said is much more closer to like how a flu vaccine is. So the it's much more easier to handle,
Right.
like for handling purposes. Yeah.
Okay. And have they all been like FDA cleared?
No, not yet. That's what they're going through right now.
Oh, okay.
So that's
cool.
why it's going to take until probably April,
Oh.
maybe earlier.
Wait, but then you still have to like ship it to people.
Yeah, that's probably what they're working on right now.
No, but you can't. All right, so it's like you're hedging your bets. So like, let's say
Exactly. Yeah.
you like if it doesn't get
No,
cleared,
exactly. Yeah, you are. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you are already building the things. Once they have that approval, they go forward with that.
But like it's not like once you get the approval, it's like okay, we already have it shipped. They're probably like
No,
making
no,
a
no,
set
no.
amount, and they're like, in case we don't get approved.
Yeah, no. They
You
will
know.
only make a limited amount. They probably have all these things kind of like thought out. Like they will
Right,
have
right.
some ready to go, but like until
what I'm trying
it's
to get to
approved.
is like if you're listening to this and you're like, oh, the turnaround time will be quick. It's like no,
No.
it's still going to be a while because like they still need to
Yeah,
manufacture.
like what I heard was like probably April, right?
Oh, okay.
Could be earlier, but probably April.
Hmm.
But
But-
then that's still
Yeah, totally. And you
A
still have
long
to
time.
like it's the logistics that's going to take a lot of time. So it's like even if it does get approved, it's
even
like, you
exactly.
only
Even
made
if
a limited
it's
quantity
yeah.
because you're not trying to like let's say
Mhm.
like you put all your money in, doesn't get approved, you're like, well, this is useless. I lost like $40 billion, you know. So they're probably doing it like that, where it's like we'll make like 100,000 run, and then if it does get approved, we'll ship out the first 100,000.
Yeah, let me double check on that April thing because maybe April to like the population. Other things could happen earlier. For instance, like frontline workers and things like that.
Okay, yeah, but it's not going to be like readily available at your Shoppers Drug Mart.
No.
Could you know?
I don't know about the Moderna one, but I know with the Pfizer one, you have to get it twice,
Oh yeah.
3 weeks apart.
Yeah.
So that's like double the amount that you got to make.
Yeah, true.
And
true.
if you, how are you gonna,
store it,
Yeah,
ship it,
yeah.
totally.
So like, there's a lot of things that they have to look at after if it's once it's approved or if it's approved.
You know what's gonna be super crazy? Like, let's say in the future, like you can get your flu shot today at the local Shoppers Drug Mart kind of thing, right? And then like it'd be so nuts. Like 10 years down the line, it's like get your flu shot and your COVID shot. We've combined them now to one vaccine. Get your like seasonal flu. You know what I mean? Like kind of thing. And like it'd be so weird. Like the kids that are born now, they're born into it, so they'll be like, oh, how come we have to get this like seasonal shot? And you're like, oh, there was a time when COVID ravaged the land. You know what I mean?
Well, I think once you have it out there, you don't need to worry about COVID.
No. But
Right.
what do you mean COVID? No. But like, what isn't it like yearly though?
What?
Like the COVID shot? They're saying like it lasts only a year.
Again, that if you eradicate it,
then it'll never come back.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. But can you eradicate it?
that's the question.
Because of but that's what they were saying in the news
Yeah.
when I was watching it. They were saying like the one time I watched it, but like they're talking about how like you'd have to get it yearly because if it does mutate, it's like they're like we accounted for this, like something like that. The
I
Pfizer
guess.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but that's why I brought up like it'll be interesting in the future. They're like you have to take a COVID shot and a flu shot, and then like the kids of today will be like they won't know this, just like the 9/11 thing, right? Or like how us for Spanish flu,
Right. Yeah.
Or actually,
But there was no vaccine for Spanish flu. So.
Yeah, totally. I'm just saying it's like
Yeah.
it's like these like big moment events that we don't know about. Like we're like a species.
Or like
within
smallpox.
nature.
Did we get smallpox vaccines?
No, we did not. No, you could
Right.
tell because we don't have the star.
Oh, those circle things.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what that was.
That's what that was. Yeah. Because I
Oh,
asked
okay,
somebody
okay.
about that. I was like, because like some people still have them. Like
Yeah,
recently,
yeah.
like some of my cousins, but like
Yeah.
in their area, they had to get it.
Right.
Like I think Jono.
Right.
he's
I'm
only
just
a few
thinking
years older than me,
because,
but he had
yeah,
to get it.
basically we did eradicate that. So now, like, the newer generations will not
Yeah, exactly.
have that.
Yeah, true. Oh, I see what you're saying. So you think that COVID can be eradicated?
I don't know. Again,
If it does
the
get
thing with the
eradicated,
smallpox was, I think we talked about this before, the smallpox was only in humans,
Right, not animals. Yeah,
not
yeah.
animals. So this is the thing where, like, maybe you do need to.
Because of like
Get
how
it.
the yearly flu gets
Yeah.
transformed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting to see that earlier when people were talking about vaccines, like, there was a small percent of people wanting, like, would have taken it. Like, there was a lot of people were saying,
Yeah,
like, I don't want to
totally.
take a vaccine.
Yeah, for sure.
And then now it's, at this point, it's like, it's going on for so long. It's like, all right, we'll just take the vaccine.
Yeah, totally. I'm still on the boat of like, not yet. Maybe
I
like
heard about the one up, like a vapor in the nose or something.
Okay.
I
I'll
heard
take
about that too.
I'll
So
take that.
I know.
I won't take the needle, but I'll take the vapor in the nose.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, what was I gonna say?
Another thing I read was like, that happened I think this week too. It's like, mouthwash kills COVID.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah.
But then, see, people have to really look into how they did the study.
Okay.
So,
Somebody posted that in this like group, this like
uh-huh.
this like Facebook group for like parents and like community, this community group.
Right,
So they
right.
put that, and I saw it too, and I was like, what? And then somebody commented like, right, period.
Well, no. I'll
Oh,
tell you.
okay.
Okay. The study, let's just say the study is whatever, right? It's true that mouthwash kills COVID, but you have to understand how the study was done.
Okay.
It was done on a petri dish.
Oh.
It's not in your mouth.
Yeah.
Because also, where is the thing in your, like, it's like in your
Oh,
nasal,
I got
right?
it. You
It's
just have to inject mouthwash into your veins.
So like, no, like the mouthwash will not work. We don't know if it works like to kill, if it's like, it's not in your like mouth. It's like at the back of your
Yeah,
throat
totally,
or
yeah,
like,
yeah.
like back of your nose sort of thing,
So
right?
you
So
can,
like,
like,
how are you gonna, you're not
spray
gonna
it
get
up there?
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no,
So it's not
totally.
gonna happen. But no, but like people don't know that. So people would just buy the Listerine or
And they're just gonna
whatever,
use it, yeah, totally.
and then use it thinking that it's gonna help. Well, they're gonna think like that. It's gonna help, right?
It's
So
it's
just-
like that person I said they posted that video of like listen to this vibrational music to kill COVID. I was like, what the hell is this,
Right,
bro?
right,
Like,
right. Like this is great news for Listerine. they'll make more money.
Yeah, true. And it was
like-
it was like unintentional marketing. They didn't put it out there, bro. We didn't say.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
just said like the way we studied it, it showed this. Doesn't mean that
Yeah,
it's gonna
it's
actually
an
do it in
independent
real.
study, so we're not liable for people who get hurt because they think that COVID is killed by
Yeah,
Listerine. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
that's
yeah.
gonna be the argument in law.
yeah.
You know, if they take it to court, they're like, I'm gonna sue
Right.
Listerine and say, hey, we didn't do the study.
Mhm.
Do you think there's like a duty of care for them to be like, this doesn't actually work? Like, remember the Clorox people or something? The like when Trump put that out.
Hydraulic.
No, like he's like, oh, just like inject this in your veins.
Oh, the
and then-
bleach and stuff.
And then they put out the thing like,
Oh,
do
really?
not do this. Yeah, I think they tweeted it out like.
Well, the
"We
mouthwash
don't
thing is
condone
different. I
this."
don't think anyone's injecting mouthwash. They
True,
would probably
true.
just use it in their mouth, like gargle it or
But
whatever.
I could
so
still
it's
see
like-
somebody like suing them, but they didn't claim it. I was like, yeah, all right. Never mind. I'm just trying to figure out like if they're liable or not.
I don't think so.
But okay, so I remember what I was gonna say. Like, for people who are like, oh, how does it mutate? Because I found this super fascinating. It's like if there are 10 people in the room, like when Tara explained this, I might butcher it, but if there are 10 people in the room, I have the flu, and then I give it to you. It's mutated because of my DNA, and then
Yeah, right,
you
right.
get it, and then it'll mutate again.
Yeah.
You pass it on, and by
Yeah.
the time it passes through the 10 people back to me, it will have changed, and I'll
Yeah.
get the flu again.
Yeah.
That's why the flu vaccine doesn't work every year. Because it goes through everyone
Yeah. So the flu vaccine is.
for that moment, but then you could still potentially get it.
Yeah, that's why you have to get it every year. The flu vaccine, right?
But it's also not 100% perfect because like they accounted
Yeah, the
for
flu.
the specific strain.
Yeah, but it does. I think it does. It will help in. It may not exactly block out the flu or something. It will still probably help you fight it off.
Yeah, true. Yeah, okay. You
So
have, like,
that's
a better
another thing.
chance.
Yeah.
it's that 5%.
So yeah,
for
because
the-
it's a lot of
Pfizer.
like elderly people would. It's more suggested that they take it
Totally,
because of
yeah.
that
Yeah, yeah.
reasoning. And it's like it's also like it's a prediction thing too. It's like they see what the virus is like in like area of like Australia or something,
Mhm.
the flu. I mean, and then they can kind of predict like what kind of transitions it will have or changes
Right,
it will
right,
have
right,
by the
right.
time it gets here.
right.
So
But that's also why we're saying like if the COVID does mutate, you can't like your one
Yeah,
vaccine will
so-
have to change every year.
right, but it has to mutate in. So if the vaccine is there, then in order for the vaccine not to work, it has to mutate at a very like totally like probably change its own like structure,
Yeah.
but which is not what they've been seeing.
Oh, okay.
Like it's
then
not like
probably
a
gonna work. then.
like a huge shift change. Yeah.
Oh,
Sometimes
cool.
also when it does mutate, it doesn't affect us.
True. Okay. Yeah.
So that's another thing too. So it could go both ways.
True. All right. Well, I'm gonna hope that enough people get it before they force us to get it. 'Cause I'm like, ooh, another needle's not cool.
Yeah, it's gonna be difficult to force, but we'll see.
Yeah, those when Danish people, they did the protest and then like
Yeah. Well, that's under
was
their law.
interesting.
They probably already had that. So then they're like, we don't want that.
yeah, true.
So they had to remove it.
Yeah, that's good. It was the one time the protests work. Remember we were talking before, like protesting doesn't like I think protesting's silly if you have no like action
Yeah, yeah,
associated
yeah.
with it.
Right.
Yeah. Anyways, do you have any final thoughts on lockdown 2?
I mean, it's not the exact same. So we'll see.
Yeah, some things are still open, or like they're open at a greater capacity than the first time.
Greater capacity.
Like
lesser capacity.
no,
what do you
no,
mean?
no, remember the first lockdown? It was like
Oh, like more
barren.
things
It
are
was like, whoa,
open.
I was like,
more things. Oh, yeah. I see.
Yeah.
Like, I see what you mean. Yeah.
like those like even like home hardware is open this time, so it's like all right, cool.
Yeah. So they put essentials as open, but what they did also was lessen the capacity
Yeah.
at one.
yeah.
So you would probably expect lines like that was there during the lockdown.
Right. Yeah.
At
It
the
already
grocery
started, like,
stores?
Wob was at Walmart.
Yeah,
It's
because
funny
I
you
think they already
sent us the
anticipated
photo.
a lot of people coming.
Oh,
because of the lockdown?
That makes sense. Yeah,
That's
makes
what they
sense.
had to do it this way already.
Okay, yeah, because they don't want to like bombard
Yeah.
the store. That's
Yeah, because
true.
it would have been packed.
Yeah, I could see that.
So they have to. They knew this was going to happen, and they needed to act this way.
Crazy.
Yeah, which is funny. The essentials, beer store is still open, and
Is the weed store still open?
they didn't
They
list
didn't say that. I know
weed,
that's why I'm like, huh.
but I
that's
guess
interesting.
online is what I'm thinking would be open.
That's kind of weird. I feel like
Yeah.
if else the reason why it's not open, they're the beer store's open is because that's owned by the government, right?
Yeah.
So they need to make their money.
Oh yeah. Sure.
You know, Farasabi made that point too about like why are schools open? He's like, it makes no sense. But I mean, you made a good point. Like the study showed that it's not spreading through schools. Because he's like, why are schools open? Your kid can play with my kid, but like we're locked down. You know. But he said like, you know, schools are government run too, and like you need people to go to work so that it's a less of a burden on the parents, et cetera, et
I don't
cetera.
think it's that. Yeah, it lessen in the burdens, and like if people are going to work, like if I'm going to work or like healthcare people are going to work,
Yeah, they need somebody to watch the
they
kids. Yeah.
need school still to be open for the kids. And right now, it doesn't seem to be that bad with kids.
Yeah,
Spreading it. So
I feel like this really is making us look at our, like, you know, they say like you don't know who a person is until they face struggle. So I'm starting to see like this whole COVID situation is really bringing out the true character in people. Like, are you a masker or are you anti-masker? Are you super into conspiracies? Are you not? Are you going to obey the law? Or are you not?
yeah.
You know, and stuff like that. It's like, are you a science person or are you not a science person? You know, it's very weird. Yeah.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing to see. Yeah. I don't know, but like this is.
Weird times.
It was already weird times with Trump winning, right? I think that was already
a big weird time. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
so it's
then,
like, and then it happened under him, this
True.
COVID thing, and it's just, yeah,
yeah,
he still
Well,
hasn't conceded, but it's like
That's
it's,
also very weird. But,
yeah,
and he's like bringing people to the White House to help him like contest the frauds, and it's like, even like, so they did your recount, man, and you still lost. So like putting that out there is really detrimental to the psychology of people. They're like, oh, our system is rigged. You're like, okay, now what does that mean
he
about your
tweeted
whole
out.
society, bro?
I didn't see the tweet myself. I think someone else put that up. Like I saw it somewhere else, but I think he tweeted out like, there's this thing, that they electronically they check your votes, right?
Okay.
We don't do that. We have hand vote, like hand counting.
In Canada?
Yeah,
Okay.
in Canada. I think he tweeted that Elections Canada says we don't use electronic voting. So he retweeted that thing saying that, oh, we should
We should use hand
Yeah,
count-
we should not be
Oh, wow.
relying on machines or something.
Wow. Alrighty. But I mean,
I just thought it was funny.
I think we speculated upon this before, but on the podcast. But
You can
like,
have more problems even with hand counting, so I don't understand what
you
he's
can have
talking
way
about.
more problems.
Yeah, because it's more likely to have human error happen
than
here.
Robotic error. Totally,
Yeah.
Totally. But unless the human error was you filling it out incorrectly, because the robot can only do what it's told to do.
Yeah,
There's
but
no like bias for a robot.
right. Well, they had those things. Anything that's not counted, they see those.
Right, and then,
see,
yeah, totally.
or they would fix it or whatever that is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot my train of thought on that one. Anyways, we're good on
Yeah, I think so.
Watchmen 2. All right, so the actual topic, and if you're looking at the title, you're like, wow, it took them a long time to get to this one. But Fireball, we watched Fireball.
Oh, this is a long time. I was 30 minutes in.
30 minutes into it, yeah.
Wow.
Well, yeah. COVID's a hot topic.
Right.
But yeah, so we watched Fireball. It's on Apple TV.
Yeah,
So if you
Apple
don't have
TV
Apple
original.
TV, sorry, that sucks for you.
But if you did buy an Apple product last year, you get it for free. So
That's true. You're right.
it's another thing.
Like I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I watched it.
Yeah, but for a whole year, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, what were your thoughts?
I liked it. It's kind of interesting. Just like how it's impacted culture in like over generations.
Yeah, totally.
And like this was near the end of it, but like I didn't know about that thing about the Antarctica stuff. I was like,
Yes.
whoa, that's interesting as hell.
Every stone here is a
Any
meteor.
stone
I'm
that's
like,
there
whoa,
is a
what?
goddamn asteroid.
But
What?
How? How did that even work? Like, is it just like
Because it's ice, right? Like it's not land. So any kind of stone.
right, would be on top. 'Cause
Yeah.
How could this? Okay. True. So I was confused by that. I was like, how does that even work? But you eliminated me to that. That's pretty common sense, actually. So because the whole Antarctica is ice, any stone that's on top of the ice would have fallen from space.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what it really made me think about was, well, it gives like viability to some ancient alien stories, like oh, we're from Mars.
Okay.
You know, like some of them say like we
Yeah,
teleported from Mars. But if you look at that as like an allegory, not actual literal truth, because like they believe that they created this device that teleported them to Atlantis from Mars. So like if that's more of an allegory, it makes sense that like the rock, like let's say there was a life on Mars, and then a meteor hit Mars, and then some of that debris hit Earth.
Okay.
Then that the bacteria on that rock would have helped like spread life on Earth. I'm not saying this is true, but like with their theory of like teleportation, I'm like, okay, you can look at it as an allegory.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Because like their belief is that like there was a civilization there, civilization here, and we were going back and forth. Like we created like a communal colonies or something.
Right.
Yeah. So like but on a more scientific level, which actually makes sense, is it made me think of like Cosmos and Carl Sagan's thing. They brought up Carl Sagan in it too, but like yeah,
he did. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Like if there was a time, so like if this whole Earth was just water, right? What creates life? Bacteria and water, right? So if there was like space debris from like different planets, containing bacteria, then that is probably how life flourished on Earth.
But that's what the original thinking is, that it came from space in that sense.
Our life?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Is that like common knowledge? Like I don't remember learning that in school.
I remember because
like,
I've watched all these different science things. It's like this is probably one of the theories.
Okay.
Or one of the hypotheses, I would say.
But that's why I brought up Cosmos, because I think I saw it on Cosmos.
We saw it on?
No, I think I saw the whole rock thing on Cosmos.
Yeah. But I've heard that before. Like they're also when they're talking about on Cosmos is coming from something else, right? Someone else who thought of that. So I've heard of that hypothesis that life
but like common
from that
science, like the regular person,
right?
Like how are they taught life was made?
I don't know what they're taught now. I don't think it was.
I thought it was like cooling of the earth, heating of the earth, and bacteria from water. But it's like, where does the bacteria come from if it's just water?
Well, exactly. So I don't think that they said that was the official answer. This is like
also, no, it's speculating. You'll never know. Like, how are you going to know?
That's why like we don't know the origin of life. That's what they say on Earth, but we think it's that.
Right. And scientifically speaking. So this brings me into like when they met the guy in the Vatican, and then he was like, he wasn't against that idea. I was like, oh, but this is very progressive though, because like if you were a fundamentalist, you know, you'd believe that God created Earth and like Adam and Eve, all that stuff. But like in that thing, he never like negated the possibility of like life coming from elsewhere. Right. So it's like, you're seeing the merger between like science and Catholicism.
Well, I think because his main motive is science.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's a scientist.
Like it wouldn't, if it was like someone's main motive is just being a priest and stuff, like would just be following the book, right?
But it's weird that they put that guy in there, because when they showed him, I was like, oh, here we go. He's gonna like knock on Christianity, because like they don't believe in that. But then like no, he was very scientific. So I was like, oh, okay, like you're showing a different side of Christianity. Yeah. You know, because there's
people they have their own perspectives. Even the priests, like I've seen there are scientists who are priests. So it's like how
do you consolidate the two? Like,
but in their view, I think he kind of said it too. It's like, well, it's all wonder. So I would think God is creating this wonder.
But no, totally. Like, but that's like the more allegorical God, right? You know, it's not.
But I think a lot of them are like that, though. In the world of science,
in the world of science,
science.
Because I'm thinking like,
I was in the world of
science, like those like the Joe Rogan joke about young Earth Christians that believe that it's only been 6,000 years, and like there was this like being that like created Adam and Eve.
Right. I don't think they're scientists. They're just
they're just believers.
Believers. Yeah.
But then that was interesting that they put them in there, because I was like, oh, you're letting people know that science and spirituality can go hand in hand. Yeah. But and then they brought,
because I think they would probably view some of those things as metaphorical in the Bible, not literal.
Right. Yeah. Those scientists. Yeah. But that's a very like, again, like, you know that they're fundamentalists, and then they're like,
of course,
progressives.
Yeah.
And those scientists that they're showing are more progressive. You know? they should have got what the Pope thought, because whatever the Pope says has to go, right? He's the Pope. So yeah, but they didn't get him in the documentary.
I don't think he would be. He does talk. I don't know. Yeah.
Well, actually, if you're listening to this and you're like, "What is this documentary about?" It's about.
Oh, yeah.
We didn't even preface it. It's about like asteroidal impacts that have shaped our civilization and created life on Earth.
That's the
essentially.
title. Fireball.
Yeah, fireball. Yeah, from space.
Yeah.
So I remember when we went to Egypt, and I asked that lady about like, do you pray to a meteor?
Well, yeah.
And then it was interesting because she's laughing at me. She's like, first you asked me about aliens creating the pyramids, and then you asked me about like we're praying to a meteor, and then she's like, no, that's not true. And I was like, oh, so what's inside the thing? She's like, it's just a room. It's like a room for
Right.
God, right? Or like the spirit to enter or whatever,
Yeah.
something like that. And then watching that doc when they brought up the meteor, and like so the encasing is the meteor. I guess inside is like still empty, because they showed the outside,
Yeah.
right? They're saying that black rock is either a meteor or something else. I forgot.
Could
what it was.
be like a volcanic thing, or
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
or from a meteor, or like the after impact of a meteor.
But in the thing they were saying you can't study it,
Yeah.
right? So I was like, oh, that's why she doesn't think it's a meteor, because
Well,
they were told it's not a meteor,
right. They don't call it a meteor, but they just call it a black stone.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
But it's like, but the meteor, like you can't use the meteor argument because you're not opening the opportunity for it to be studied.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can't study it, you can't call BS. See what I'm saying? So like
Yeah.
her being like, oh, why would we pray to a meteor? And I'm like, oh yeah, true. Why would you pray to a meteor? It makes no sense.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, but you haven't studied it, so you don't
Yeah.
know if it's an actual meteor.
Yeah.
Like to you, it could just be like a holy rock or something,
Right.
right? Yeah.
Right. Like what? But there was something significant about that black stone that
Yeah.
that it was Muhammad that kissed it, so then
Mhm.
everybody is copying
Yeah.
Muhammad
But-
in that thing. So like what?
Mm.
I don't know if they go into that. What? Like I think. I don't know. This is like I think I read, or some hadiths probably said that he said that it came from the heavens. So again,
Mm.
that's where that probably the thinking of that it's a meteor coming from. But we don't know what it actually is, right?
Yeah. Right. But I don't even think they think it's a meteor. Maybe scientists are like it's a meteor because like it's
No,
came
no.
from heaven.
Yeah, but he said that. Well, he said it in the hadiths. Or so hadith said that Muhammad
it's a
said.
meteor?
No, he didn't say meteor. He said it came from the heavens.
Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
it could be anything. It could be a volcanic eruption. or
Right.
whatever.
Yeah.
But so this is interesting that because I read the Quran, but I didn't see that in there. So it must have been in the other book. Like it doesn't like
Well-
talk about like Muhammad going to kiss a meteor or whatever.
No. The Quran is from God.
Right.
The hadiths are from Muhammad.
Exactly. So there's the differentiation. So within one religion, it's like, are you going to follow the Quran or are you going to follow hadiths? Or are you going to follow
Well,
both?
in their perspective, it's both.
Yeah. But it's like, shouldn't you just follow the Quran?
Right. Well, there is versions of
Yeah.
Muslims that do,
Only follow the Quran.
Yeah, that's right.
Interesting.
and then there are the other vast majority, I think, are that do both. Right.
right.
So in their perspective, what I've heard was like, for instance, like how do you pray isn't exactly explained in the Quran, but Muhammad explains it in the hadiths.
exactly. How to do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Interesting.
So like that's their argument, right?
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. But so like not to make this a full religious talk, but
Yeah.
I was listening to Faraz Sahabi like in his AMA, and I'm probably gonna cut this one up because it was very interesting the way he described it. So he's like, somebody asked, what is the difference between Judaism, Christianity, and Islam? And he's like, the primary difference is in Christianity as opposed to Judaism and Islam, they base their religion off a historical event, the birth and death of Jesus.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's so true. That is actually how you quantify it. Because like Judaism is about like Yahweh, and the word Yahweh is like is a Jewish specific word for God.
Mhm.
And then Islam is about Allah, which is their word for God,
Yeah.
right? But like in Christianity, it's so focused around Jesus. Like
Yeah.
that's all I knew growing up, just Jesus.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, oh, pray to Jesus. We're like, no, you should pray to God. You know.
Well, in their version, it's the manifestation of God.
Exactly. But it's like
Yeah.
that's why he says it's based on a historical event. But in the
Like
Jewish-
even in the Quran, they view Jesus as
just a man.
someone who holy.
Oh.
Like
The whole no,
no,
you're just
but
a
like
man,
also like
but not God,
No, but also
a
he's
prophet.
yes as a prophet, but also that in the second coming, it's Jesus who comes back.
Really?
Yeah.
If that's in the Quran?
I don't know if it's in the Quran, but it's
Okay.
also what the Muslims believe.
But which version of I'm gonna have to break out the Quran again and look for that because
Yeah.
I don't even like.
Did they talk about Jesus in
We
the
talked
Quran?
about Moses.
There was no. They said it talks about Jesus too.
Maybe I'll pull it.
I don't know if it's in the Quran or the Hadiths.
because they mentioned Moses, like the God of Moses or whatever, and I was like, okay. That's what blew my mind. I'm like, oh, it's a trilogy. That's what made me realize it's a trilogy.
Mhm.
That they're like talking about the same characters. But yeah, I'll look into that. See if they mention Jesus. Don't
Yeah,
remember.
because like the Muslims also like respect Jesus too.
No, of course.
Yeah.
But what he was saying is like it's the differentiating factor is like Christians venerate Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
Like Muslims don't venerate Jesus. They're like, yeah, he's a special guy.
Yeah. No, exactly. Yeah. No, they don't treat him the same way. They treat him like a prophet.
Right. But that's what I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
the primary difference between the three is that Judaism is about God. Christianity, it's about God, but it's also about Jesus. Because they believe that Jesus is also God.
Yeah.
That's the Holy
Yeah.
Trinity argument,
I mean,
right?
he was the one.
He's the so this is weird. This is a weird paradox. So Jesus is the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the Holy Trinity thing, right? And then what was interesting too is he brought up because like he's well studied in like religious stuff, and he was saying that Jesus, that the whole Trinity idea was in paganism as well.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like it's predating your religion. So it's like
But all of the stuff that
totally.
a lot of people are doing is
for sure. It's based on something else, right?
Yeah.
But I'm just saying like the main argument being like focusing on God, focusing on Jesus, focusing on God. Like I think it's important to focus. And that's why I said like when I read the Quran, I was like, I agree with this one the most. Because it's like this one's all about going back to God.
Mm-hmm.
You know? But then this was also the cool part, because he's like, God is not an external pursuit, it's an internal pursuit. Because God is within us.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, you're
God
just,
was within us.
yeah, because
In what sense?
like our like the voice that's talking to you, or like your connection to yourself. So what I mean is, so when he said that God is within us, I was like, oh, you're talking about yoga. They're all talking about the same thing. Their just expression of God is just different.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like, because yoga is all about connecting to yourself, capital S. Brahma.
Yeah, no.
Right.
I know. I just wanted to understand, because I've heard that perspective
Okay.
also from other Muslims who
Think
like
it's
that's why I want to
external?
understand what they mean by that. Like, what is for us how we mean by that, because they
Internal
don't.
pursuit, you mean?
Yeah, I don't know, but like God is in you, like
I think it's like allegorical, not like literal, not like
no. I know. So like that was the thing. Like a lot
the
of
essence
them.
like connecting to the wonder of the universe and realizing that you're a part of it.
Mm-hmm.
But when he started speaking like that, I'm like, you're talking yogic language,
Yeah.
you know, which is like, but I get why you would create a religion out of it, you know, because it's like, if you can't quantify what this, I read this paper on awe. So I was talking to this guy at my old workplace, and like we were talking about shamanism, and I was like, oh yeah, blah, 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 like this is what shamanism is, and he's like, oh, you should read this paper on awe, and I'm like, okay, what does it send me? So the paper was about how all of our spiritual things start with awe, like wonderment.
You're right.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
like not like in a spiritual sense, like literal wonderment, like you being like, wow, this is so crazy.
Yeah.
That's what we took, and we created God
Mm-hmm.
out of it, because
Yeah,
you don't
yeah.
know how to explain it.
Right.
So you're just like in bafflement.
Right.
So
right,
that's an
right.
internal thing.
I understand.
That's what I mean. It's like that's what yogic I think that's what yogic texts and like this Islamic
Mm-hmm.
texts are trying to say about like it's inside of you, because you're like I was out with that walk with your brother, and I looked at this, like your brother brought it up. He's like, oh, look at how cool the sky looks. I looked at it, I was like, whoa, that's crazy. And then I was like, dude, what if we were in a video game that like we we're like living as Sims in this video game.
Mhm.
And he's like, well, why do you create video games? I'm like, probably because God or whatever it is the creator of this video game is like, do you want the hardest mode? Because the hardest mode is we're gonna give you full free roam, you know. And then like, but looking at that, like I represent it as a video game, but that's how ancient peoples would have represented it as God.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like looking at your life as a video game, looking at your life as a divine gift from God. It's the exact same thing,
Yeah.
right? Fascinating.
But they also view another thing is like talking about this as video game. I mean, it's kind of like it's similar to that too, in when they think that this is a test.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, are you?
So the real life happens after this.
Are you going to complete the objectives for your game?
Exactly. Yeah.
But that's why a while ago.
Yeah.
That's why I wrote this Young Yoda quote called it says like we're all seeking free roam mode or something like that. The ultimate pursuit is free roam mode.
Okay.
And like I'm sure if you read that you'd be like, what the hell is this guy talking about? But what I meant is like when you complete all the obstacles, you hit free roam mode. But that's like if you complete life's tests, you can like be one with God in his next life.
Right.
But what we're seeking is like the realization that we're already free, but we build these burdens up. Like get a job, get a house, get this, get that, right? But what if you have all those? Then you're in free roam mode. What else are you gonna do? You know?
Yeah.
Whatever you want to do. You know? Yeah.
Right.
But it's weird, like likening it to a video game is just as equal to likening it through yoga, is just as equal as likening it through like religion, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's all the same thing. But what I liked is that he like quantified Christianity, because there's something I don't like about Christianity. It's just like I was like, but then when he said like you base it on a historical event, I'm like, yeah, that is what I don't like, because you created this man that's we're all gonna worship. That's like cultish behavior. You're not connecting with a higher power anymore. You're connecting with a human,
Right.
And then he brought up this really good fact. He's like, in the Old Testament, it says like,
Well, they view him as like more than human, right?
okay, so they talked about this.
Right.
So like in the Old Testament, they said God is not like, I'm paraphrasing because he brought up the passage, but there's so much in the Old Testament, like I can't remember everything verbatim, but he's like, God is not so fickle as man so that he can just change his mind, right? Because God doesn't change his mind, because God is like perfect.
Right.
And then Jesus, everyone's like, oh, but Jesus is God. And then there's a passage in there that he's this Gentile is, so Jesus came to save the Jews. So this Gentile, a Gentile is a non-Jewish. So this Gentile was asking Jesus for help. And then Jesus was like, I'm here for the Jews, not the Gentiles yet. And then she's like, but save my kid or whatever. And then Jesus was like, okay, you're right, I will save your kid. But that passage shows that he changed his mind, so he can't be God. That's their like argument, you know, like when you're like splitting hairs.
Yeah.
So it's like he is God, but he's also human. That's our belief. That's what the Trinity is.
No,
Father, Son, Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
So it's cultish.
Wasn't it all cultish?
Yeah. I can see that.
So
I mean, the Jews believe in Moses. They have their like primary avatar, right? That they're like obsessed with.
I was because I watched all the religious stuff before too. I remember seeing one in like the British's like one of those talk show ones called Big Think, where is Jews for Jesus.
Oh no! But that's true though.
Yeah.
Because Jesus was a Jew.
No, I know.
He's not actually
Yeah,
a Christian.
So they're not Christians.
But that's why it's so funny,
Jeez.
because it's like, but that's what, remember this was my primary argument when I finished reading like all three, and like I was like talking to Wab about like religion, and then I'm like, do you think you're an Israelite? And he's like, no, and I'm like, so then it's not for you, bro. Like,
There's so many versions, even with Israelite. There's like the Black Israelites.
yeah, true.
That is a totally different perspective of how they read the Bible.
You're
That
right.
they are the chosen people.
But I mean, if you identify as an Israelite, all power to you. If you honestly are like, I'm an Israelite, then I'm like, totally. Like, this is for you. Because that's what they literally said that in the Bible. So it's like, why are you following it if you're not an Israelite? If you're like a wasp white Anglo-Saxon Protestant.
Okay.
Like it's for like rich white people. That's the term they use, WASPs. So if you're that,
Never heard that.
oh yeah, well there you go. So like if you're a WASP and you're like, oh, I'm like really into Christianity, it's like, but you're not an Israelite. You don't get it. You know, it just seems like hypocrisy to me. Yeah. But,
yeah, I mean, yeah, the world's,
And all right, so
fascinating.
bringing it all back, because you're like, why did you go on this whole tangent about religion? That's what the whole Fireball doc was about.
Basically, the different stories that we create
Exactly.
for the meaning of life and death.
Because they
From the awe. Yeah, that's
because
true.
they saw the fireball and they're like, what is this? So they created like a whole story.
Yeah, it's interesting too. Yeah, it's like, it could be a life death thing, but then we saw at the end of it, that culture, that community views it as, is more like it's like someone coming by, or like their ancestor or someone, or someone's moving on. Like they didn't view it as like necessarily dark thing. It was very
Death.
positive thing. Yeah.
Yeah, the final tribes.
The final tribes. Yeah.
That's also really cool because like fireballs usually have to deal with death. And like because like it's the destruction of the world, and it's like written into every ancient thing about like a fear of like, oh, there's another thing actually. It just corroborates like Graham Hancock's argument, Graham Hancock and Randall Carlson, that there was most likely an ancient civilization that got wiped out by a asteroid, and then human civilization just had to like reboot.
Yeah.
And we've done this. Oh, I wrote this down. So there's 9 gates of hell and 12 gates of heaven. That Cheats and Eats the thing. Remember that segment?
Yeah. I don't remember if it was 7. I thought it was 7. I don't remember now the exact number.
but
they have
whatever.
like so many layers. Yeah.
Layers to hell. So I'm wondering if each one of those, if you look at it allegorically again, if each one of those layers was really a destruction and creation story. So like, what if each time, because she's like, oh, let's descend into the layers of hell. So I was like, but layers can also be like, when an asteroid hits, it creates a layer around the Earth. Right. So is it like each one of these marks a different age in our civilization? I mean, there's no like way to corroborate that, but I'm
right.
Really
this is just we're just making stuff up, but like.
But that makes sense, right? Because
right.
I really believe in this whole like asteroidal impact resetting of society thing. That makes the most sense to me. It's not even like he shows the science, but it's like not. It's not dogmatic.
Well, it's not
logical.
Right.
Of course, this will happen.
Yeah, I guess. Yes, that's probably has happened. But I don't think we've had the impact of what the dinosaurs had, where it wiped everything out.
Totally.
So this is something that didn't wipe it. That's another thing. Yeah.
But they were chasing asteroidal impacts, right? Like the Tunguska one in Siberia, like destroyed so much, and then like they hit all the time.
Yeah.
So it's like the most recent one. If you want to YouTube this one, it's like meteors in Russia.
Yeah.
They opened the documentary with that. Yeah. Right. And it's like if that.
I remember when that happened.
I remember too. Yeah.
That was crazy.
And we were all freaking out. We're like, oh my god, we're gonna be hit by an asteroid, you know. But like, although they do have like scientists watching the skies in case there's an asteroid, and they know how to redirect an asteroid with that like nuclear bomb idea. I was like, oh, that's pretty genius. Like you're just gonna like push it out of the trajectory.
Yeah, you don't have to go into it and blow it up in pieces.
Crazy. No, you just have to push it a little bit.
Yeah, because I remember, what was it? Armageddon? Was that the movie
where
they
went to the yeah. But it's not the asteroids you see that you should be worried about. It's the ones you don't see.
Yeah.
So it's like the Tunguska one, not Tunguska, the Russian one, that we were all amazed by. Like that one, they probably just didn't see it, just slip past them.
Yeah. Sometimes you gotta be, because you can only check one area some areas at a time. Yeah. You just can't see the whole.
And they're moving so fast throughout space, so it's like So yeah, it totally makes sense that, especially now that we're like such a huge global populace, if one, like let's say the Russian thing happened and it was only Russia that was there on Earth, they'd be screwed.
Right? Why is it Russia? Do they have like the biggest landmass, like percentage wise around the world, or?
Yeah, I was trying to figure that. Like, yeah, I don't know.
Because there was one like back in like a long time ago.
Siberian one.
Yeah.
The Tunguska one.
Yeah. But those are like, there's a difference between asteroid and comets.
Right. Well, what is the difference? Comets break up in the atmosphere and asteroids.
Well, no, the comets, like they do, if they're depending on the size, they do get in, but because it's
It'll
all
burn up.
ice or something, that if it's burning up so much, it'll explode before it hits.
Yeah, okay.
Versus
Oh,
the comet,
So those were
or
probably
versus an
comets.
asteroid
But
that.
I don't know if those are asteroids because they blew up in the air.
Yeah, I think
the
they were
impact
comets.
shattered.
Yeah, yeah.
It didn't hit anything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think the one in Siberia with all the trees falling apart,
yeah,
that
that
was
one-
that,
that one
was
was
from I
actual.
think a comet.
Yeah. Oh,
It was
comet.
also a comet.
Oh, okay. Ooh,
that-
so, but an asteroid hit that lady. Remember? It went into her
Yeah.
like, living room. And,
Right.
like, yeah.
So that's an asteroid.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know. Like, what a subtle differentiation. They're exactly the same.
There
just
one is
like-
an ice ball though,
ice
versus
ball,
an
okay.
actual just rocks.
like iron. Is
Yeah.
what they're made of.
Yeah.
Oh, and that was cool too when they saw that they took the DNA of the not DNA, like the particles of the asteroid, and they're like, oh, this has particles from Mars.
Oh right. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's like okay, if it's traveling, if you can encapsulate bacteria and particles from Mars and then transport them to
You know
Earth,
what this
of
is?
course.
You know, like thinking about this again.
Interstellar. Is that what you're gonna say?
No.
Oh, because
No,
that's what they did in Interstellar.
No, what I was thinking was like these are like asteroids that if that was how life was created.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the pollens of a flower.
Yes. Yeah. Totally.
It's like just coming from planet to planet and like bringing its whatever it is materials within this creating life here
Totally,
and
yeah.
like it's kind of like this is what that like why is there an asteroid belt? Why do we have that? Like I think
Yeah,
there was a
true.
planet there. What happened to that planet
Ooh, true.
that blew up? That's why like we're always looking at that area
Interesting. Yeah.
because those are the ones that can always just come at us.
Right.
But Jupiter
It's
like
protecting us.
is protecting us, which is
Yeah.
kind of
Interesting. Yeah.
it's just interesting, like because it's so big.
yeah. So
it
takes
pulls
most
all
of the
them in,
immediate
yeah,
Impacts. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
And then
that's
there's a Mars
fascinating.
is there to kind of
Lessen the blow. As
yeah.
Well. So we're in a very like lucky spot.
Well, yeah. I mean the Goldilocks zone, right?
Yeah.
This
And-
is-
but I mean, like there was also
there were
life
impacts, right? But yeah.
There was life on Mars before too. Like they were saying they found water. You know?
Yeah. I mean, there's ice caps, right?
Exactly.
They have
so,
ice caps.
So something must have happened on Mars. Maybe a meteor hit them. What if there was a civilization on Mars? Who knows?
Mm-hmm. I like the thing, the Japanese satellite or the thing that went to that asteroid,
Yeah. Pushed it away.
pushed it, but it also grabbed
Oh, a piece of it. Yeah.
a piece of it. So they're gonna. It's still coming back to Earth.
Oh, it's not here yet.
No.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So like, I heard about that they were gonna send something. It was just I think it was this year.
Interesting.
And
Oh,
then-
they protected us. Was it gonna hit Earth? That's kind of
No, it wasn't gonna hit Earth.
Oh,
But they
okay.
wanted to do like
testing.
testing again and testing on the material too.
Right.
So it's like it's kind of like doing both. It's like okay, how do we push it away at the same time learning? Like because all of a sudden like as soon as it hit it, it moved.
yeah. Because there's nothing in space, right?
Yeah.
There's no like
So it's like
friction or
yeah. So
yeah.
like I guess those nuclear impacts on the side of an asteroid can really
yeah, totally
push it away.
Yeah, atmosphere I guess would be not friction because there's friction in space. It's no atmosphere. So if you push something gently, it's going to make a big impact. Like because if there was air here, there'd be something to push against it.
Yeah.
Like that's why like a bullet, if you shoot a bullet, it'll like die out, right?
Yeah,
it won't
yeah,
go
yeah.
on forever. But if you shoot a bullet in space, it'll go on forever.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing stopping it.
Mm-hmm. Other than gravity.
True, yeah, it would just be pulled into like a
Yeah.
different planet or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so trippy to even think about how space works. Is so trippy.
It's not at all like it's not reality. Like it's
It's
you know
not
what I mean. It's
reality.
like
It's
that's the
not
thing
what
that
we
we
know.
really have to change our mind or thinking of because it's like the space station that's going around us is going 1,000 kilometers per hour or something
Yeah,
like
how can
that
you
to
even,
keep
think
it up
about that,
there.
bro. Like, how can you think about
Yeah,
that?
yeah.
That's not anything we know about.
Right. Yeah.
What's going 1,000 miles per hour on Earth? Like,
Right. I mean,
Nothing.
I think even the Earth's spinning, right? Isn't something like that?
yeah,
But we
so
don't.
trippy.
Again, like we don't think about it. It's just
Yeah.
we just think of it as 24 hours a day.
When he said like without the giant impact of the dinosaurs, we wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
And I was looking at him as he was saying that. I'm like, oh my god, we're like the rodents that evolved.
Well, we are. Yeah.
And now we're telling ourselves, look how great our life is. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's so trippy. We're just like an animal on Earth that like has created self-awareness, and like now we're telling each other like, look how amazing our life is.
Well, now we're trying to also think about how to self-preserve in these situations. Like,
yeah, totally.
what other animal can do that right now, right?
Exactly. Yeah. True.
So-
True. Yeah, trippy.
It's like, and then if we do that Elon stuff where you go populate Mars, like, got a better chance of surviving.
Yeah, exactly.
The next
something like
impact.
that too. Yeah, that's so trippy. Hey, you see the space Karen thing? I sent it.
Oh, yeah.
It's so funny. People are so funny. Like, because he's questioning the COVID thing, and then now they're calling him Space Karen.
Yeah.
But
There's a lot of people that hate him too, though. I don't.
oh, that was the other thing. Actually, I was gonna say that it really showed like the intelligence level of a lot of people on Earth. Like this COVID thing, it's like, oh wow, people are just really into propaganda, and like there's no critical thinking in a lot of people. But then they'd be like, oh, you're not. What do you mean? Of course I'm critically thinking. It's like, of course you are. Of course you are.
Yeah, they all say, "Oh, I do my own studies," but where are you reading those things?
YouTube, bro.
Yeah.
YouTube, which is created by a person that's not corroborated by any science.
But it's not just that. But how does YouTube work? It works based on your
What you already
clicks and what your likes.
So
So,
it's just
you're just gonna
feeding
keep hearing that versus like
yeah, true.
what are other opinions of it?
It's like it goes back to that 12th Planet book that I was reading, and I had to put it down because I'm like, there's no evidence in here. Why am I wasting my time?
Mm-hmm.
But they'll read it as if it was evidence. But it's like, but where did he write his thing on? They think because you can get a book published that it must be true, or because you put a YouTube video online and it has 1 million hits, it must be true. No.
But also, what happens with humans, I think, is if someone tells you that, you have a more
it's
higher chance of believing it.
Yeah, it's
and then you would spread that. So it's like, this is how this sort of stuff works.
it's
Even
a marketing trick.
Yeah.
Oh, what do you call it? Like
it's a word of mouth.
Word of mouth. Thank you. It's word of mouth. Yeah. So it's a higher likelihood of you selling a product if your consumer acts as your marketer.
Yeah.
So word of mouth.
Yeah.
That's how ideas spread too.
Yeah.
You know, it's just marketing tricks.
Yeah. I see it all the time, but I've always tend to question whatever people say to me.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. It's just like default.
Yeah. True. Which is critical thinking.
Yeah.
101.
Maybe that's the basis I've set to default is critical thinking.
Yeah. But then they'll be like, but here's the other thing. So in Catholicism and Christianity, like I can say this because I was brought up in this, they say you don't question the Bible. You don't question anything God says.
Mm-hmm.
So, but that like negates critical thinking. So like, I think maybe that's why I have the biggest issue with it as opposed to like Judaism and Islam. Because I'm like, yeah, there's way more margin for like cultish behavior in Christianity because you're blindly believing in like Jesus or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
So it just sometimes it goes down to just where you grew up in, like those.
No, that's what I mean. Exactly.
So,
yeah. So it's like,
but they might not exactly. There's levels to how much do you believe, right? Versus
healthy skepticism.
Yeah.
Is what you need.
Right.
But yeah, you're right. In feedback loops, if everyone's saying like, "Don't question this," you won't question it.
Yeah.
And then and if you see one person who gets questioning it, they get ostracized.
Yeah.
Then it's like, okay, I don't want to question it then.
Right.
You know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Weird. Makes you think about like homeless people that are like who's the guy? The guy that PewDiePie talked about. He was homeless.
Oh, I forgot Dionysus. No, Diane. Oh yeah, one of those philosophers. I don't remember. Living on the streets.
Who? Dionysus?
Maybe. I don't know if that's Dionysus. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure it's Dionysus because I was like looking at the book. I can see it visually. I just
thought that I was thinking that too, but Dionysus sounds like a girl's name. But I don't know if that's
Dionysus
true.
is also a god, right?
Yeah, that's what I thought. Is it a goddess? I couldn't remember.
Or whatever his name is. So like, he was like homeless and he was going against like societal norms.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like it makes me think like, what do homeless people that are like living on their own, independent of society, know that we don't know? You know.
Mm-hmm.
But technically, if you're begging, you're still a part of society. So it's like cheating.
Diogenes.
Thank you. Diogenes. Yeah. Yeah. Any more thoughts on Fireball?
I thought it was good. I was really
it's good.
surprised with the.
If you can get it, definitely watch it.
Yeah. I was really shocked about the Antarctica thing though.
That was pretty shocking.
I like a lot of the shots that were there though too, like they're just walking. It's like
you know what's funny
like
how like branding works. Like they were all using Canada Goose jackets and
were they?
Canon cameras.
Oh, okay. Well, I wasn't paying attention to that.
But all right, if you're paying attention to it, it's like, okay, that just signals to me like those are the brands you should trust because they're using them in the Antarctic. You know what I mean?
True. Yeah. I did not pay attention to the brand. I was
like
visually looking at it. Like
but also like be
brand.
wary if you watch it because there's a lot of moments in that where I was like, this is just a long scene that was just artistic.
Right.
Really that's why I got bored. Looking at the brands because I'm like, okay, you already told me what the point is. Like, I don't need to see like sweeping shots of like. I mean, I get it for entertainment purposes. Like, yeah, of course, like the novice person.
I think the like the narration parts or like the monologue parts were the issue. Like, I like the shots where they were walking along
it's
the
cool,
thing.
But you don't need to do like 5 minutes of it. This documentary could easily been like much
shorter.
I
think it's like to say like it's just 5 minutes. They were doing that for hours.
Yeah, true.
Think about that.
True,
it's like they were actually doing that for
hours.
They
want to put it in there because like
it's like
a lot of work, guys.
Yeah, it's like. You should know this is not that easy. It's like super cold out there, and they're just walking along.
But all right, so funny enough, that's actually how I like. That's also why I read books. I'm like, a lot of these books, they're trying to tell you one thing, but there's so many paragraphs that lead up to that one thing. It's like, why am I reading this?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Well, I think we're in the world that we want information very quickly, right? I think that's what YouTube is trying to do. There is.
Oh, okay. So you're saying I'm very impatient.
I don't know. Maybe we've been. And we are the internet like generation. Totally. So like we've gotten to the point where we need that information quickly.
So I'm reading this Michelle Obama book right now, and like it's like I woke up and then I went down to the store and then blah blah blah. I'm like, my God, this is boring, bro. I don't care what you did in your day. And then she'll say like, and then my dad told me this lesson. I'm like, that was the point of the chapter, bro. Like we didn't need like the whole thing.
Right.
Just tell me the point you're trying to teach me. Yeah. I was feeling really bad about that. Like, you guys make fun of me about my like skim reading skills. Because you're like, oh, you read so many books, but it's like, no, I'm looking for something specific. But I was like validated when Faraz Zahabi, he said that's how he reads too. Mm-hmm. He's like looking for the point. He's like, there's a lot of fluff. He's like, give me a 60-page book that's like jam-packed with like information. I'll appreciate that more than a 700-page book that could have just been 60 pages. Yeah. Yeah. But there's word counts. Like there's also a business around books.
Yeah, there is. That's true. Yeah.
Like they're like, we need 10,000 words. You're like, okay, let me just fill some fluff.
That way they can price mark that up.
Exactly. Yeah. Look how big the book is. So you're getting a lot of value. But if they gave you like a $60 book for like freaking 10, like they give you a 60-page book for like $60, you'd be like, what the hell?
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. I just feel like wasted time is like
what they say. Talking about that, I think the most amount of entertainment that you get is, I think, video games, but the price you pay and how much you play.
Oh, relative value?
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, because you're in a freaking world, the time you could spend it. Of course, yeah. I mean, that's like an easy, Yeah. It beats out like.
That's why the price point is, again, they had to increase it up this year with the new consoles and all the games. I think at another $10 up. But it's like,
$100 per
but
game,
then again, it's like the value of the game versus the actual price. It's like, it's good. Like I looked at the amount of hours I've played GTA. Then since I got this in PS4 time, when it first came out, and I think let's just say I paid $60 for the game. I've had 1,000 hours on this game.
And what else can be
what is this?
Of like value?
Yeah, it's like,
What are you gonna reread the same chapter? What are you gonna like watch the same movie over and over? But like
there's
doing things all the time. Yeah, definitely.
There's so many things to do, and they're still releasing new stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, totally. The biggest value for your buck is video games. Yeah. Even actually that Assassin's Creed, because I was like, well, what about studying? But like that Assassin's Creed one, where I learned so much doing the walking tour.
Walking tour, yeah.
That was so amazing. Where you like walk around and you like get to see things and they explain it to you. Like, but they created that for like school, right?
Yeah.
But it was so fascinating from my perspective. He's like, what is this person doing? You walk up and they're like, this person is cooking a fire and in fire is
Interesting.
Like,
Yeah.
cool.
I mean, they do a lot of research when they build these worlds. So it's kind of like, yeah, there is a lot of things to learn about. Like, they spent hours learning about this time and they made the game, right? So it's like, might as well teach it also, like,
totally,
as a learning thing, as a teachable moment thing, right? So.
So the life lesson here is play video games because there's a lot of value to be had.
Yeah. Would they do that one? They haven't done that one for Valhalla yet, right? I don't
think so. If they did it for Valhalla, I would pick a Valhalla.
I don't know if they did. Did they do it for the Greek one too?
No. Did they?
I'm not sure if they released one for that.
I just remember the Egypt one.
I'll look it up. Yeah, maybe they did.
And it was so cool.
If that's like a normal thing they're gonna keep doing,
that'd be so sick. I would pick up the game just for that.
Yeah.
I remember I said that. I did not play the Egypt one, but
yeah, I played the whole game, but like,
I just played the walking tour. It was so fascinating.
Yeah.
And then visiting Egypt was so cool because then you like saw, like, oh, this is where it said in the game that there would have been like Nile rivers and like blah blah. Yeah. Final thing, PS5 haptics. I was blown away.
Yeah.
Like I was kind of like.
Well, I did the thing. I've had the game console for a while. I just didn't play anything yet. So at first, the Astro is the one that's really this game that comes with the console, is the one that just showing you everything about this control. I think what it is, like, next gen graphics and all, but I think the next gen is more about the PS5 controller than anything else.
Yes. Yeah. I 100% agree. And like, because I'm like, how much better can graphics go?
Well, graphics gonna get better no matter what.
Of course, yeah, but it's like, but that's like a never-ending stream until you hit perfect reality.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I've been tripping myself out though. Like I've just been pretending in my own mind. Like we watched Cyberpunk 77.
Yeah, 2077.
Yeah, and then like I went to the bathroom and I was looking at my watch, and then I was like tripping myself out, and I was like, wait, what if I'm the first person character in 2077?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, what if you hit a point where you put on the VR headset and it's like so indistinguishable from reality?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, that's literally our lives right now. Like literally.
Yeah, it's like we're getting there, and then by the time when we reach it, we didn't even realize.
Exactly. Totally.
We're doing it already.
And it's so trippy because like I remember the big click to me was like when we were in university and like I was like reading some book and then Sid was playing Sims, and then he's like, oh look, I'm like teaching my Sim how to play guitar, and then I was like, why don't you just play guitar, you know, or something like that? And it's like, but if you look at your life like you're a Sim, then it's like, what would you do in your life that would make the game more fulfilling to you know?
It seems to be that
a lot of people don't do that.
No, but it seems to me playing God is much more fun. That's what that was.
Oh, true. Like psychologically, it's like, look what I can make them do.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, true. That makes way more sense, actually. Yeah, true. Because you get like control, like power. Yeah. Okay, I see your point. Okay, yeah, you're right. But to me, I was like, okay, I would prefer to like level up my character.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
And but that's why I started doing all those things, right? Like, and then people are like, oh, how do you have so many like black belts and stuff? But it's just I was playing a sim. I was literally playing a sim, bro. That's it. So weird. Even this podcast is like, this is just sim mentality, bro. But yeah, so going back to haptics, yeah, I agree with you. Like that controller is so spot on. Wow.
Yeah, I was pretty impressed. I was like, damn, it's not like Rumble like the other one. It's just rattles or whatever, right?
Yeah, so the trippy part is like when you're doing, somehow they made it that the mechanics affect specific portions of the controller.
Yeah.
So if you're pulling down one side, the entire controller isn't moving. It's just the one side's moving.
Mm-hmm.
So you're like, it feels like you're actually doing the thing.
Yeah.
Or if like you just gotta play the game. I get why
it's hard to explain.
It's so hard to explain.
This is the thing that they were trying their best to do during like the early times when they're showing off the PS5. Like, look what you could do with the controller, but like how can you explain
that? That's
that?
Cool. Like, you know?
It's like okay, cool, but like you can't really explain it till you experience it. This is the thing.
Yeah. And then I think Marcus Brownlee, I didn't watch the video, but he said like this is next, like the title was like next gen but can't explain why or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And like when we were doing like the rocket thruster example on the controller, and like you turn on one rocket through the the right trigger, then you can feel that rocket going off in the right side. And then you do the left trigger, and then you could feel that one. So then if you pull both, then you could feel it in both sides. So I was like, oh, this is how they're going to like fly rockets or like plane games in the future, you know?
Yeah.
It's
But, like,
so
it's
trippy.
it's also the triggers itself tightening. That isn't like
tightening too. That's
I was
so
like-
trippy. Like if you pull it down, there's resistance in the game. You'll feel the resistance on the trigger.
yeah. You can actually
So
have to
good.
use muscle or
Or like that
Or
one
finger
where,
muscles.
where all the characters jumped inside the controller.
Oh,
and
yeah,
then,
yeah.
Like if you move the controller, you can hear them moving
Like-
around. You could feel them moving around
Mm-hmm.
inside. Like it's as if there's like a bunch of little characters in your
Yeah.
controller.
Yeah.
And I think the additional thing that made it cool was there's a speaker on the controller, so I can hear them like.
Yeah.
making
Well, the other one had a
sounds.
speaker too.
Oh, okay. Oh, whatever. So they put it all together.
Yeah.
So you can hear them like rolling around in there, screaming that you're like making their life chaos because you're
Right.
rattling the controller.
Yeah.
So good. So
Yeah.
good. I think
Oh, yeah.
that alone is like you should definitely get the PS5. Like, what is Xbox going to compare to? Like, come on.
Yeah, we were just talking about that too. It's like I don't know what game.
Console wars are over.
Yeah. Oh, like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
But I'm saying like there's no first party game that's coming out with Xbox.
But even like in terms of like console intelligence, they're light years ahead of Xbox. Like, I don't think Xbox got that haptic controller.
No, they don't. No.
Exactly. So,
Yeah.
game over.
They didn't
bro.
focus on controller. They focused on graphics and frame rates this time.
And like games that are like infinite.
Oh, and Game Pass basically.
Yeah.
That's where they're spending their money on.
Not worth it. But the controller is way worth it. I was like, whoa, this is definitely the future.
Yeah, I was lucky to find one or
Yeah, true. yeah.
online. I mean, so
I wonder if you can do like a bodysuit now. Now that I'm thinking about it, now like Ready Player One,
eventually, man,
like
it's
feeling
gonna
the
get there.
haptics in the controller. I'm like,
Yeah,
this
yeah,
would be
yeah.
so good with a bodysuit.
Right. Yeah, I think it's gonna get there. It'll eventually get there.
Could you imagine like fighting games? You put on a full bodysuit, a head thing, and then you're just like fighting, and you could feel everything.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, it's really, yeah. That'd
But
be,
there's no physical damage to you.
no.
You just feel like pressure on the spot.
Yeah.
Ooh, so good. I'm excited. Yeah.
We'll probably get to that world.
Like
yeah.
like feeling the controller, I'm like, yeah, haptic suits are real. Like watching
It can be done.
it can be done.
Like
So-
now we see like the vision.
Yeah,
like,
exactly,
Okay,
yeah.
it's possible.
Cause like when you watch Ready Player One and they put on the haptic suit, you're like, maybe, but that's way light years ahead.
Mm-hmm,
But then you feel the PS5 controller and you're like, it's here. You just need to make a bodysuit. Like you have the tech. Like the controller alone is like unbelievable.
yeah. Yeah.
VR is going to be so gnarly. Like headset,
Mm-hmm.
haptic suit.
Yeah, VR is still gonna take a while to get there. The PS does have a VR, right? So
Yeah, no, but I mean, like you could see where it's. You could see that it's a
yeah,
reality.
you can see where it's headed. Yeah.
Unlike a work of fiction, you could see it's reality.
Yeah.
But I mean, like the iPhone was an invention from Star Trek,
Mhm.
but we didn't see the reality because we're like, how could that possibly be? But then now we have them because of like somebody's like.
Well, somebody figured it out.
Somebody figured it out.
Yeah.
So like with this controller, I'm like, oh yeah, this is not far away from having a full body suit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You just need to like if you're listening to this and you're like BS, I don't believe it. Just get the PS5 or like let your friend who owns it play it, and then you tell us if this haptic controller is not the most insane invention in the world. Like right now. I mean, obviously
Right,
there's gonna be
yeah,
some
yeah.
craziness, but like you can really feel it.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy.
Now we just hope games use it.
That's true too.
That's another thing.
That's true too.
But I think they would, seeing that the success of it, seeing that it's really
Yeah, true. But imagine the
Different.
coding hours though. Like I couldn't even imagine. Like that's just mind-boggling to me. Like no one person could code this. Like you need teams and.
no. But if they
teams.
can design it, like it's PS5's hardware, so if they have easy ways to use like like
Code
how
on
to
top, yeah,
code
yeah,
on
yeah,
top of that
yeah.
kind of thing. I don't know how that stuff works. They will figure it out. Like it's. I think it'll happen.
It's the engines.
Yeah,
right?
and of course, first party games will push for it.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
So yeah,
Ooh.
like I just think about that, like feeling like you throwing the axe in God of
I
War,
know, I was-
and feeling it
yeah.
catching it only in that hand. It's like
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
That'd be so cool.
Or like if they cut you, I was actually thinking about what's that? Last of Us 2, but I didn't play it. But like if like Last of Us, they cut you and you feel like a blade go across your hand because of the
Right,
haptics.
right.
Oh my! I'd freak out, bro. Could you imagine that? They're like,
Yeah.
they're like, you see like an intense scene and then
Right.
like cut off her hand and then they cut her and then you could feel it in the controller. You're like, oh my god, that's trippy.
That'll be interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, soon. All right. It's a great signal for us to end. Pick up the PS5. Yeah, definitely worth it. All right, till next time. You want to say how amazing PS5 is, Ish?
Yeah, it's. I forgot their slogan, but it's the next
What is
best
it?
thing.
Gaming Unleashed.
Yeah, was that
No, I
what
just
it
made
is?
that up, bro.
It's something about Unleashed,
Marketing.
I think.
Marketing. Unleash your true potential. Play hard, win hard.
I don't know. Logo? Is it not logo?
Just Googling right now.
Message? The slogan, right? It's called slogan.
Yeah, sure. They're
Okay. Play has no limits.
okay. Unleashed, yeah.
I saw another title like when I was looking that up. It's okay to be white because the PlayStation 5 is white.
Oh, that's so good. Trolls. I love internet trolls. All right. So pick up PS5. There are no limits to this. All right. If you're final shout out to our sponsors, Zenreal Clothing Co., Paper Tees and or accessories, ZenrealClothingCo.com. Use offer code SoccerTees for 20% off select items at checkout. Be sure to check out Zenreal Radio for awesome music. Oh, actually, this is new. There is, if you don't have Spotify or you don't want to like download Spotify, just go to our YouTube channel, SocraticGamers.com, and you'll find the link to YouTube there. There's 24-hour playlists that have been saved, so like you just listen to vibe out music all day, every day. But yeah, also if you're in the Port Union area of Scarborough, Toronto, be sure to check out the Port Union Bakery for awesome baked goods. I gotta figure out a better way to say that. Baked daily and crafted with love. That's their slogan. And say what up to Arvel. And hopefully he'll have the PS5 when you say what up to him. Take it easy, Bish.
Peace.
Bye.